everyone. I hope everybody is doing good in the new year. I have been away for a while again. It's been harder for me to get to my videos, but I just wanted to touch base with you, and I'm actually going to do 2 videos in a row right here today, but I'm going to do them separately because I want to keep their focuses separate. So obviously I will be wearing the same clothes and it'll look like they're done in the same day. And that is because they are. So I'm just going to do this one, the first one, on my focuses for the new year. And then I got a request to talk about headaches, and that is something that I can relate to. So I am going to touch base on that subject and how I deal with mine next. But first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this new year, and we always go through some resolutions and things like that when coming into the new year, just looking at what are our goals and what we want them to be and where we would like to be when we come out of this year and stuff like that. And my husband and I were talking, and what I realized was that my diagnosis has changed a lot of our goals, and kind of, I guess I feel like made us into, in a way, different people. Our focus has changed a lot. So in 2014, I received my diagnosis. In 2015, or just before that, I was put on oxygen. And from that point on, I guess my main goal was my health. And we were always very driven and into business, and we had fun with it. That's what we did, for fun. Sales and just all the different business stuff that we do. We have several different ones that we work on besides the store. We have a publication. He does credit repair, and we've been involved with different network marketing companies at different times. We're not at this time, but just in general, we had the farm with the horses and everything, and just over the years, we've always been involved in different businesses and business activity, and doing at home rehabs and just all kinds of stuff. So we felt like when we sat down to talk about 2019 and look at where we've came from the past several years, we felt like in a way that we obviously maintained everything that we had started when we got my diagnosis, but we felt like we weren't moving forward or growing more. And I guess what really made us come to the realization was when we moved the store this year. We had been in the same location for the store for 8 years, and we finally moved it this year, even though we had talked about it previously for years and years and years, and actually had stopped, I guess, talking about it once my diagnosis came. We were focusing on other things then. The same with the publication. We always used to talk about how we would expand it, and this year we finally made moves to expand it. At the end of 2018, we had started making moves to, I guess, bring it into the new millennium, in a way to speak. And so when we sat down to talk about 2019's goals, we talked about how our focus had been more on my health, and that's okay because that was where we needed it to be for the moment, but we both feel like we need to get back to us. Like, we've given enough time to this, we've got it under control, and we need to change our focus so we can keep growing. And so for us, the 2019 goal is to give less time and thought to my diagnosis and to give more time and thought to the way we used to be. And that is to just get focused back on what we were doing and to continue growing our businesses and continue living. And I'm not saying we ever stopped living, because we kept doing things. We kept going on vacations and, being involved with life, but we weren't our complete self. So, yes, we're going to keep doing the vacations and keep doing different things and, just like we always have. But we're going to get back to building our businesses ourselves and just keep moving forward instead of focusing so much on the diagnosis. So, with that said, we were very proud of our accomplishments for last year, and that was getting the store finally moved to somewhere bigger. And now the focus is adjusting to the growth we've done with that. It's taking me a little while to get used to the difference in the difficulty level of keeping everything stocked for a bigger store, a bigger location, keeping up with all the events for a bigger store, a bigger location. So for this year, that is going to be the challenge, to get that, to slow down, so to speak, to where I feel like it's a usual routine so I feel like I'm out in front of it instead of chasing behind it all the time. And then for our publication, we have made an app, and it's still in its newest stages. So it's been developed. It's on the Android system, waiting for approval on the Apple system. But it's taking our publication. We've been online for a while now, but it's taking it to the app. So it'll take our publication to people's phones, so it'll make it more usable and more accessible by another generation, which is super exciting for us. So that we got up and going before the end of 2018, and now we're going to take it and focus on that and keep moving forward with it. And then just get back to building us. We used to listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and the motivational was not just money. It was about health and wellness and personal development and business development, and all of it, I feel, because we've already started listening to all of it again, and some of it is stuff that we used to listen to, and I have to give total credit to some of it for making us who we are now, and some of it we've started listening to again from what we used to listen to way back when we were really young. And it's funny how all that stuff just comes right back to you. That is our focus for this year. And as far as my health, I have learned in these years that what I need to do to stay stable and keep myself feeling my best, and that is, to do my best with watching the foods that I eat, exercising, and I've learned some more about the exercise too, and that is like that. I used to exercise like 3 to 4 days a week in the house on the treadmills and equipment and stuff, and then get the rest of my exercise being out and about shopping and, doing other things in real life. And recently I've learned that, let me say I've always felt like I was never really getting ahead that way. I felt like I was barely keeping up. Whereas I would see other people say that they exercise and they feel like they were way better than they were 5 years ago or whatever. And I wanted to get that feeling too. And even though I would feel better than when I didn't exercise, I didn't feel like I was like really getting ahead of things. And so what I recently figured out was that if I exercise on the equipment every day, in addition to, instead of exercising on the equipment and then using my days out as exercise, before I go out on my days out, I hit the treadmill or whatever for a shorter period of time, but maybe a more intense workout, you know, to make up for the difference in time. So instead of being on there 30 minutes, I would be on there 15 minutes, but a higher intensity, just so that I wasn't taking up as much time before we left or whatever. And what I found by doing that is that I do feel like I'm starting to get out ahead of things now. When we were out the other day and we were shopping and walking around, and I actually, for once, felt completely normal. Like it was just heaven. I was like, other than having the oxygen on and still needing it, but as far as walking around and everything, I actually spent that day shopping in the store and not thinking about breathing once, and that was really nice. So yes, my exercise needs to become for 2019 more of a thing. So I may do a video on that as well in the future, but I'm just trying to give you guys a little overview of what my focuses are going to be for 2019. So in a sense, I'm just wanting to become a better me, a better version of, and get back to the me that I used to be. So yeah, and so it's not like I'm going to drop focusing on my health. I'm just going to focus on it, but move on and do other things and have other focuses. Just make my health what I do, and get back to my other focuses as who I am. So I encourage you guys to, and the reason to another, just let me say real quick, I've always learned that what you focus on expands, and I do not want my diagnosis to expand. I want that to become the smallest part of my life, and my life to take over. And what I've noticed is when I get occupied or really submerged in something, I don't think about it at all. So the more I can submerge myself in other things that take up my whole thought, I think the happier I will be. So that is what I have planned for 2019 and beyond. And I encourage all you guys to get back to whoever you were before all of this started. And if you remained who you were, then you're doing great. And I wish somebody would have told me. So, have a great new year, and I will be back in a minute with another video. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one.